goes out right there, and then this valve right here, I'm gonna open that. That allows the sand trap to bleed off. And I've got my gas lines hooked up and my filter going into the carburetor, and that's the air vent for it. So I've got one more that I've got to put on here, and I need to go out and look at the other jet ski and figure out how to do that. Can you figure it out?
Lid on it. Do you have a way that vents the whole cavity, so that if you get
see,
fuel
there's air coming in over here,
yeah,
right underneath that red box.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna put one on top of the door right here, which will allow the air to escape, make a
up and out like
yeah,
that.
yeah. It'll actually vacuum it out, suck it in that hole.
If you're moving,
that'll be positive pressures, and this will be negative pressure.
Yeah.
So that'll work. What do you think about that?
I think it's really cool.
You think it's really cool?
I think
Okay.
it's really cool.
We'll try it. All right, I got me a chair to sit in here. When you get 78, even though life is great, sitting in an odd position is not so great. So you need a little relaxation. The kid's gone up to help Deb, and so I want to talk to you about something that just been refreshed in my mind. You know, I wrote the book, my wife helped me somewhat, called To Train Up a Child. That's the book that Anderson Cooper hates. Sold over 1 million copies in English, and then about, I don't know, 10 or 15 other languages, additional copies. And it's still selling great after, about 30 years, I believe. It's a book that we wrote that has stories about how the children were raised here in the country and how they were brought up and how we trained them. And you see Nathan there in the video. That's my second son. And he's pastor of a local church and now taken over directing the ministry. He's been a missionary and been pastor overseas, and great guy. And then there's Gabriel, the older son, and he's fine daddy and loves his wife, loves his children, and doing well in business. And then I got 3 daughters, and they're all doing great kids. Now those that you saw here, I've got 5 of them staying with us. Boy, they're wearing us out. But we're having a lot of fun. It's such a blessing to have them around because they're so well trained. I think they're better trained than mine were at that age. In fact, I would say they are. They're very respectful. They're very obedient in every way. They just live to please. They're creative, hardworking. They teach me some things mechanically. Their daddy's trained them well. He's a mechanic, and right now he's in Mexico. Getting some medical treatment, very expensive medical treatment, and he's in critical condition with cancer. And we're praying that he comes home safe and sound, because the boys are not grown yet and they need him, and he's done such a good job. He and Shalom, his wife, done a really good job in raising the boys. And the girls, we got one of the teenage girls here, the one that did the art in our book, our faith book. She did all the 45, 50 pictures in there, and she's doing art there at the house all the time. She took over my basement area where I paint. And the kids follow me around. You know, if I get up and walk toward the door, they all jump up and say, "Where are you going?" They won't let me go anywhere unless they go with me. They want to work with me. They want to watch me work. They want to be outside doing things. Now, they'll get bored after a half hour and go swimming or something. And I can't handle that swimming in the creek anymore. The water's too cold, and it's just too much for an old guy. But, you know, if the book that Anderson Cooper hates, I talked about the book that Anderson Cooper hates, To Train Up a Child. He hates it because that's how you make Christian kids that are patriots, who love God, who love their neighbor, who are kind, don't fornicate, don't seek to change their sex, that are just happy with who they are, what they are, and they become prosperous in life. Economically prosperous, they become socially prosperous, spiritually prosperous. They just become excellent human beings. We homeschooled them, and we trained them from their youth, from the mother's breast. They were trained. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, He will not depart from it. So what does it mean to train a child? It's not about, now spanking is involved for the very small children sometimes, but that's not what it's about. There's people who spank their kids and make them mad and make them mean. It's about tying strings of fellowship. I talk about that in the book, tying strings of fellowship with the kids. And it's a constant thing. They're going to identify with the persons or people that they're around the most. If they go to public school, you're not going to be the number one in their life. If they go to a private Christian school, you're not going to be number one in their life. But if they're working with you on a daily basis, playing with you, eating with you, laughing with you, going fishing and hunting and everything that you do, then you tie those strings of fellowship, and they do not want to break those strings. The very idea that they might do something that would sadden you, grieve you, it's repulsive to them. What they want to do is just live in the light of your presence with joy. And all my kids were trained that way, brought up that way. And Shalom's kids were brought up that way, the ones that are here, the 5 that we've got here. And it's exemplary. If you could see this in action, I've actually had people come stay with me when the kids were young for a couple of days. I remember one woman, after 2 days, she cried. And she said, I wish I could have what you've got. Wish I could have that in my family. And others have come and said, I just don't understand it. It's amazing. I'm not inviting you to come. I don't have, no. But others have seen, and not just me, but hundreds and thousands of you out there have trained your children in love and joy and the Word of God, and you've got the same results. You know what I'm talking about. So out of that million people that have read, over a million, well over a million people in English in America that have read To Train Up a Child, there are tens of thousands, maybe a million families that are enjoying their children, and their children are prospering. So it's fun being a parent again, although it's exhausting. You never have a moment to yourself. Mama Pearl, they'll holler. Papa, where you going? I can't do anything privately anymore, except go to the bathroom. They're just always tagging along. And so training is just doing what's natural, like teaching them to drive that four-wheeler, teaching them to use tools, which are daddies, they're ahead of me in some areas, teaching them vocabulary words. They always want to know. And Bibles, at nighttime I teach them the Bible. If I use a word they don't know, they say, what's that word mean? And that's homeschooling. I tell them the meaning of it, give them some examples. I talk to them about world affairs, about politics, about science, things in the garden, things in the woods, tools, gears, the nature of things, the nature of life, the kind of things that you need to make you a well-rounded, full human being. And so that's child training. No Greater Joy Ministries publishes the book, and they sell the book, and I don't get any royalties or anything, but it's the kind of book that'll transform your family. I've had thousands of letters of people who said, this just transformed my family. Now, if your kids are 14, it probably won't do you much, or older, it probably won't do you much good because you've already messed them up or you've already succeeded. But if they're still 4, 5, 6 years old, even 8, then it'll be a big help to you. Okay, I'm going to get back to work. I'm have to go check on the boys. They're up there doing some chicken work and garden work, I think. Mama Pearl has them engaged. Stuff that she couldn't get me to do, she's got them doing on a daily basis. All right, back to work. What is this I've come in and found? Cleaning the cabinets.
Yep.
Is it? Why are you cleaning?
Kitchen.
Are they dirty?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we just didn't have you guys here to clean them. I think I'm gonna go back to work. Too much work going on here for me.
You want to help?
What'd he say?
You want to help us?
I got work to do.
What did you say, Robert? Can't remember.
I'm now in the swimming pool. Cat Now